Hi there! In today's video, we're gonna talk about graph interpretation. Tables, charts, and graphs are convenient ways to clearly show data. Their purpose is to show and compare changes and relationships and to bring facts to life. They're an economic way of presenting information. In academic writing, graph interpretation is essential and commonly used, as graphs provide credible and factual support for the writer's argument. Different types of graphs and charts display data in different ways. There are three basic graph forms: the line graph, the bar graph, and the pie chart. A line graph is used to show continuing data, how one thing is affected by another. In other words, it's a way to summarize how two pieces of information are related and how they vary depending on one another. Let's take a look at the example. Here, the line graph shows a medical case study on how John's weight changed between the years 1991 and 1995. On the horizontal axis, you see the time scale, and on the vertical axis, the weight scale is shown. Here are the lists of verbs, nouns, adjectives, and adverbs that can be used to describe line graphs. In order to describe the rate of change, it's possible to form sentences by using a verb. For instance, according to graph 1, John's weight rose between 1992 and 1993. Or you can use an adjective plus noun. For instance, according to the line graph, there was a sharp rise in John's weight. There is another alternative. You can use a verb plus adverb. For example, as can be seen in the graph, John's weight rose sharply between 1992 and 1993. As you see, you can express the same idea with different grammar structures. You need to identify trends as well. A trend is the overall idea of the graph. For instance, the main change over time, the most noticeable thing about the graph, the pattern over time, and the pattern for different places or people. Now let's study the trends of different graphs. 1. Customer numbers fluctuated slightly. 2. Numbers fell steadily. 3. Customer numbers leveled out. 4. There were wild fluctuations in customer numbers. 5. Customer numbers hit a peak. 6. There was a steep rise in customer numbers. 7. Customer numbers dropped dramatically. 8. There was a slight dip in customer numbers. Now pause the video. Study the graph and the language patterns in the sample text. Now it's your turn. The graph below shows the number of books read by men and women at the Burnaby Public Library from 2011 to 2014. Complete the summary by putting the phrases given in the box to appropriate places. Now you can check your answers. A bar graph is used to show relationships between groups. Bar graphs can be drawn horizontally or vertically. This type of graph is very useful for comparing two or more similar items. The items being compared do not need to affect each other. It's an efficient way to show differences. Here in this example, the bar graph shows the weight in kilograms of different fruits sold in one day by a local market. When trying to measure change over time, bar graphs are best when changes are larger, as in this example. Now pause the video, look at the bar graph and study its summary to see the necessary language used in interpreting bar graphs. Now it's time to practice. Look at this bar graph, complete the summary by putting the phrases given in the box to appropriate places. A pie chart is used to show how a part of something relates to the whole. This kind of graph is used to display percentages effectively. It enables the reader to see how a whole is divided into parts. As pie charts represent data visually as a fractional part of a whole, they can be an effective communication tool for the even uninformed audience. Here are a few useful language structures you can use in interpreting pie charts. Now pause the video, study this pie chart and the model answer that follows. Here is your last task. Look at the pie charts that illustrate the changes in American spending patterns between 1966 and 1996 and fill in the blanks with a phrase or word from the box. That's all for today's lesson. Bye!